Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got another one straight out of Florida for you and what is going on in the state of Florida. And this particular story is galvanized around who can you let in your home, whether you have a contractor that's going to do some work for you. You may get a referral from another friend or family member, but you still don't necessarily know that person. So there is a little bit of a stranger danger upon letting a HVAC person, a general contractor come in that's doing some work for you, and you just hope that all goes well. Well, unfortunately, in this story, a young lady, a single woman, hired a contractor to do some work. She paid him up front, and he, of course, did not do all the work that was necessary. You hear this about general contractors all the time. Sometimes they can have a kind of negative reputation about picking the right contractor that's going to finish the job. They always want some money up front. Definitely do not give them all the money up front before they do the work. And this particular contractor took several $1,000s, tens of $1,000s from this young lady, and then he ghosted her. And the way he dealt with it was he came back to her house and did the most diabolical thing you could think of. So let's talk about this situation and how this contractor out of Florida, contractor kills client, upset over unfinished job, leaves her body at a dump site, Florida cops say. So the contractor didn't do all the work, and then when the client, the female client, wanted her money back or wanted him to finish the job, instead of him finishing the job, he finished her. A woman disappeared during a dispute with her contractor over an unfinished job at her home before her body was found in construction bags at a landfill months later, Florida authorities said. Now a jury has found 49-year-old Corey Benderim guilty of first-degree murder, burglary, and tampering with evidence, the Office of the State Attorney of the 4th Judicial Circuit of Florida said. McClatchy News reached out to Benderim's attorney for comment and did not immediately receive a response. So this is what happened. Susan Malden, 65, elderly woman, retired age, single, paid Benderim $12,000 to remodel her bathroom in Fleming Island in early 2019. Clay County Sheriff's Office deputies wrote in an arrest affidavit. Benderim then demolished Malden's bathroom but never finished the project, failing to show up for work as scheduled and giving months of excuses, deputies said. Malden then fired him in the fall of 2019 and told him that he owed her $12,000 or she would pursue legal action, authorities said. He was supposed to go to her home on October 23rd to drop off a check, but of course didn't show up, according to deputies. The next day, he went to Home Depot at about 7 a.m. and bought contractor demo bags and concrete mix before going to her home an hour later. He called her twice and she picked up both times in the last communication on her phone, which investigators believed was when it then got turned off, meaning her telephone. Cameras showed Benderim backing into her driveway at 8 a.m., deputy said. Then he's accused of no longer sharing his location on an app and driving to his home and then a landfill before dumping about 300 pounds of waste and going back home. Next, he went to a storage unit and dropped off tools that he had retrieved from Malden's home. Malden's friend reported her missing the next day after all her calls went to voicemail and she didn't answer her door. When law enforcement searched her home, Miss Malden, they reported finding blood on the floor and lampshade in the living room, as well as blood in the kitchen. The sheriff's office put out calls for information to help find the missing woman. Then in late January 2020, about 3 months after Miss Malden disappeared, investigators searched a landfill in Georgia where Clay County Waste is taken and said they found her remains in contractor bags, demo bags. Then Benderim was charged with murder. During the trial broadcast by Court TV, Benderim's defense argued no DNA evidence connects him to the killing, implying someone else killed her. The proof of that is the foreign DNA under Susan Malden's fingernail. The nail had no blood. The nail was found with the body inside those bags, his attorney said in closing statements. Those bags that had no foreign DNA on them, that nail had the flesh, the skin of whomever killed Miss Malden, stating that it was not Mr. Benderim. Mr. Benderim faces the death penalty or life in prison at his sentencing hearing coming up. Clay County is part of the Jacksonville metropolitan area. So his attorney is saying that that this foreign DNA that was found under her fingernail was not Mr. Benderim's. That is basically Benderim's only defense. However, there's video surveillance of him at Home Depot buying those bags, with demolition bags. There's also home surveillance of him going to Miss Malden's home, and telephone binging and communication. So there are several video surveillance and technology apparatuses that are showing that Mr. Benderim had some association with Miss Malden on the day that she disappeared. And then several months later, they found her decomposed body at a dump site. This is a tough one in the sense that, we're all out here trying to live our normal lives. It's definitely got to be tough for single women. This was a young lady that was 65 years old, needed some remodeling done on a home. As we all know, when you're going out here trying to find contractors, there's a certain element of stranger danger. You think it's tough just trying to date somebody, but it's also very tough trying to find somebody to provide lawn service, to do some contracting work on your home. Of course, you try to get referrals from neighbors, friends, and family members, but you still never know. And there's always been an underlining history of general contractors that take your money and don't do the job. Of course, never pay them in total. Make sure you have a good, valid, strong contract. Try to vet the contractors as much as you possibly can by finding out through other people who they have done work for and were they diligent on time and did they get the job done at the appropriate deadline. This is a tough one. We know the state of Florida is probably the #1 state for retired folks, tons of single individuals, and there are people that sometimes need help around their house, whether it's housekeepers, like I said, lawn care, landscaping, or any kind of general contracting. And unfortunately, Miss Malden picked the wrong contractor. And instead of this contractor having the maturity and the professionalism to either return her money to her if he couldn't do the job, but it looks like he probably had no intentions on finishing the job and just thought that he could take advantage of an older person and or a woman. This happens all the time. Try to vet these people as much as you possibly can. Get the closest referrals you possibly can. Let other people know that you have a contractor that's working on your house, especially if you're a single person, whether it's your children, family, friends, your attorney. It's probably a good idea when you're spending thousands of dollars with a contractor to have your attorney involved in that particular situation. This was a $12,000 job. So if you had to pay a lawyer $1,000 or $1,500 to put a contract together, for even the lawyer for you all to meet at the lawyer's office, that probably is a good appropriate measure, especially if you're an older single woman or even a young woman, is to probably have a third party involved in this particular situation. But through video surveillance, through phone data, this contractor is in a world of trouble, and he could get the death penalty and or life in prison if these allegations are true. Tell me what you think about this contractor who allegedly kills his client because he was upset that she wanted the unfinished job to be finished, and she had already paid him, and instead of him finishing the job, he finished her. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.